Jesus said he's sleeping. Your prophecy may look like it is dead, but trust me, it is sleeping. Hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Merci Abba, and I'm so glad again to come back to talk about Jesus and his ways. So today, happy Valentine's Day for those that had it. Yes, so today I want us to talk about something that have been filling my heart, which is the reality about a prophecy. So for those that do not know what a prophecy can be, what is a prophecy? Prophecy, it is a communication or a prediction that God can give, or he gives to his children, so that to show him the things that he's going to do in the future. And most of us, we do have prophecies. Some of us, we may have received it in the word when we were reading the word. Others, when we're praying and we hear the word of God. Others, we get it in our spirit, we just feel it, or you can even be told it by another person. But one thing is that sometimes we feel like, is this thing that God have said, is he really going to do it? But again, you still have questions like, is it really happening? Am I even in the right direction? Did God really, who have said that he's going to do that thing, is he going to do it? Which I wanted to give you clarities about the facts about every prophetic word that you could have received. So definitely that prophecy, it is going to come to pass. Let me tell you, it is going to come to pass. God have told Abraham that I am going to make you a father of many nations. And what? We are living in that generation where we know that it has come to pass. God has promised us so many different things. At least check your past, different things that has been prophesied over your life, and it has come to pass. So that same God, he is still going to do it. Truly, that first one, you have to know this. And secondly, I would say that prophecy, it is going to happen, but it is going to happen in God's way. It is not going to happen in our way. Because that God told Abraham that he is going to give him a son. He's going to make him a father of many nations. And then for his perspective, when he told it to Sarah, Sarah thought, oh, okay, if God really have said that, and according to my age, I guess he meant that we should really have kids. So because of that, maybe just go there, find these the servant that they were using, like you can just sleep with her and then she will have kids for us. Because we are trying to understand the way, or we are trying to think that God have told us also the process that thing that he have said, it is going to happen. Or we are trying to clarify that this thing, it is going to happen in this way. Like, let me tell you a funny example. Sometimes I'll just be looking at my videos because God have told me, and he told me through this Bible verse that was in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. For I formed you in the womb, I knew you before you were born, I set you apart, I appointed you as a prophet. Because of the deception of the enemy, or the way that we are trying to look at the situation and we are trying to explain it to people. First of all, yes, truly it is on YouTube, but then you are like, maybe I will have to start like getting many followers or something like that, instead of you understanding that maybe God say that you are going to be leading, or you are going to be speaking to a number of people from different countries, because at the end of the day, every single one of us still represent a nation. And sometimes to even the way it looks, I thought like, oh my God, it's going to be smooth. God is going to start like speaking to me like, you know, I'm just going to be in front of the camera and God is going to speak like everybody's just going to start seeing all the manifestation of me or something like that. But God will always let you grow. God will always let you grow to know that things are going to happen, but they're not going to happen with that one version of you. Like I can imagine, especially when you receive that prophecy, like God has told you like, oh, I'm going to make you this big person. And then you just comes there and you're like, you know, people, God has said this. And sometimes you start even changing the way you talk to people or the way you react on situations, because I'm like, me, they have told me that I'm going to be that big of a person. And by the time we realize, we lose our purpose, we lose the place where we are supposed to be, when God has said that this is where we are supposed to be. So truly, this is one of the biggest realities that I have seen, and also trying to explain like, okay, God have said it, this thing, so it is going to be able to happen in that way. For example, like I apply this job, I know I'm like praying for this job, and you're like, God, I know that God is going to definitely give it in that exact job that I have applied for. If I'm going to be praying, God has to do it. God has to make sure that these people, they are going to be the one to contact me. But we do not understand. God is broad. And this is why, in fact, the Bible keep on telling us that do not lean on your own understanding. God always tells us, do not lean on your own understanding. Why? Because he is going to do it in his way, not in your way. Because we live in different realms. You are living in a physical realm. And I know for sure that thing you want, yes, you asked it for God. And you want God to act as if he is in our physical realm. Like, I've seen it so many times. Me too. Like, oh my goodness. I'll be telling God, like, God, you see that job that I've applied? You gotta make a way. You gotta make a way. Like, I need to be fasting for that one job, and God, you gotta do it. You have to do it. And then when I see that they rejected me, I'm like, did God even talk about this job, or did God actually meant that I'm going to be employed? Yes, he's going to employ you, but in his way, in his you ask for what you ask for, but the process, it has to be done by Jesus, and it is for him to also determine how he wants to give it to you. So I remember when Lazarus died, and the sisters like Mary, they came to Jesus and they were like, Jesus, if only you would have came early, our brother wouldn't have died. So in their realm, in their way of thinking, they wanted to believe that Jesus is only able to do whatsoever, that he can only do it when he would have came in their time, not after their time. But God doesn't have to work God doesn't work in the prophecy of how you have seen the situation. God can have it expanded. And that is why sometimes when you feel disappointed, I want to reach you to the point where when you feel disappointed, when you feel like you don't see the reason why these things is happening, did God even say that this thing is going to happen, or you don't see where it is happening, it is because maybe we are putting our eyes on the physical things, on the physiological way that we see it, instead of looking it in a broader way that God has said it. And importantly, you still need to go to clarify to God. You still need to be praying. Keep staying in the presence of God. If God has given you a prophecy that this is what he's going to do, trust me, God is not going to give you the full picture. And if you are going to need that full picture of it, you are going to still need to stay in his presence for him to finally speak up about the details of, okay, this is it. Because I think I had like a small picture of what God wanted to do maybe for me, and I would conclude like, okay, since this is it, normally this thing to be able to arrive or to be able to reach here, I need to be walking like this, or I need to start like collecting all these different things to make it happen. So because of that, I'm limiting God to be able to show himself, or to be able to do things in the way that he plans to do it for me. So that is what I want to encourage you today, telling you that if God has given you a prophecy, hold on to it, but also try to broaden your mind. God doesn't need to use that exact same way that you are thinking of. He can raise the dead. If he tells you that he's like the child is, if Jesus is telling other people that this child is sleeping, he means that he's sleeping. And you are like, yeah, it's dead. Jesus said he's sleeping. Your prophecy may look like it is dead, but trust me, it is sleeping. Or even if it is not happening, that means that you are being called to go again in the place of prayer and ask again the clarification of what exactly did you actually mean? Because most of us, when we get prophecies, we are so quick to conclude, okay, if he said it, this is exactly where it is going to be, or this is how it is going to be. No, God will always use his ways. Like, sometimes I'm just getting amazed because you will just see that this way it was the least of the least that I would think of, and which makes you to understand that you always need to pray. You need to always go back to God and tell him and ask him, God, I know you have said this, but like, What is the way out? Where are we heading? Sometimes it is so important because sometimes you are seeing yourself that you are using so much strength, so much effort to be able to do a specific thing, and then you don't find a way out. It is because you are using your own mind. Do not lean on your own understanding. God is broader than your brain. God is broader than your brain. He's going to use the ways that are not the ones that you actually know of. And because of that, even if you feel like you don't have the clarity of that thing that you have said, it still means that whatsoever that he's telling you right now, just focus on it. And by the time you realize, it is going to come to pass when you didn't have to use even a single effort. So that was really all from my side. I hope it has encouraged you, and it would encourage you to also keep staying in God's presence. Every prophecy that God have said, it will come to pass. Everything that he have said. Imagine those ones that has happened before. Didn't it come to pass? If it did, then that means that even the one that looks like, oh my God, is it really going to happen? Yes, he's going to make it happen because he is God and he doesn't live in our realm. God is not limited with time. Really hope it has encouraged you, and I hope too it is going to change your mind, because it has fully blown my mind too. I was already in deception of like the video that I've spoken recently about when you're asking so many questions using your heart, using your brain, using your people, using YouTube to check it. No, you are going to still need to go back to God, because even though I was talking about that video, I realized later that I needed to go back and pray, and God really gave me explanation, because he's really ready to tell us why things may be happening in that way. So regardless, just hold on to him. He is in the midst of doing it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope it has encouraged you. Use it to encourage your friend, and let me know the prophecy that God has told you and you have seen the way that he have done it, which was totally different from your way, or the way he have explained it was different from how he explained it to you. While I will be seeing you in the next video. Bye bye.